My name is Leon, and this is Xotx-Tropico, XOTX, and today I'm going to show you how to repot a Phalaenopsis orchid. Many people get Phalaenopsis orchids, and when they drop their flowers, people think it's all over. But finally, there's life in the stems, more flowers will come out, and the plant will quite likely need repotting because the media that's being used these days, which is a kind of a sphagnum moss, often keeps the roots too wet. So the first thing we're going to do is actually make some drainage shards. So we're going to crack a pot here and make some pieces to put at the bottom of the pot. So any old pots you have, you can just keep around to make shards out of. This will help many things in creating drainage when you repot them. So now we have the orchid. We're going to remove this sphagnum from the root system, and we'll inspect the roots to make sure that any dying tips we can cut off. We can dust with some rooting powder. Also, I like to use orchid bark mixed with charcoal. This gives a lot more drainage and toxin absorbing capacity to the mix. So let's see how this is looking. Inside the house, most orchids need watering in the winter only every 2 weeks. In the summer, maybe every 10 days. Many people start to kill their orchid with kindness. They prefer to be drenched and then dried. Then we'll take a suitable pot. Low and wide is better, has a much better oxygen balance in the soil. We'll take some of these shards that we broke up, put them in the bottom. So we get a little pile of drainage there. And I like to use a razor blade to cut out damaged roots. You can use alcohol to sterilize it. And then you can work where you see the root system is actually dyed in the center. We can cut that back. Again, we have some death here. The root is dying. So we want to clean it up a little bit. Okay, that's looking a lot better. And then we'll dust the root ends with a little rooting powder. I like putting a little bit of charcoal in the bottom of the pot too. That again helps the drainage situation. Most orchids are growing in the tree branches, so they're plants of air circulation. So it's quite artificial to have them in a pot. But it's amazing what you can take out of the jungle, which will actually grow. I'll take a little bit of the bark. I'm going to put this root system back in here. And orchids like to be planted what we call tight. We should pack the media around the root system. I'm going to take a little bit of charcoal, mix it with the bark. Then we're going to place this around the plant, packing it in with our fingers. It's a classic greenhouse technique to use a rounded wooden stick to jam it in also. This is for other kinds of orchids too, like cattleyas. They like to be jammed into the media as if they're living in a tree. Okay. So we've packed that up. Then we can examine the spent flowers. If you can see here, already a new flower stem is arising. Usually you'll cut the flower stem just below what was the first flower, because more flowers are going to come. You never cut this all the way down to the base unless it's brown. This was the first flower on this spike, so I'm going to cut it there. So this will get me some more bloom before another flower comes off. We're basically finished. You can take this plant, water it well, wait another 10 to 14 days before you rewater it, keep it at a bright window, and soon you'll have more flowers.